Hi guys, as you can see, I'm doing this week's video a little early, or recording it early. I'm recording it early, because I need to get videos done for like the next week and a half. Start out by saying, on last week's video, I had mentioned I had my appointment, or had an appointment finally with the surgeon on Monday. And so that was this past Monday. I went to the appointment. Him and I sat down and talked about a bunch of stuff. I had come in there thinking I was going to be doing the gastric sleeve, and after discussing a few of my medical things, I have really bad reflux, or GERD. And he said the sleeve can actually cause that to get worse. He goes, in rare cases it's gotten better. He goes, but in the most part, people that either have it, it got worse, or some people didn't have it and then got it after getting the sleeve, because there's no pocket for the stomach bile to sit in. So he recommended doing the full bypass. He goes, with the sleeve, if it doesn't work, we can always go in and do the bypass. And he goes, but being you have such severe reflux, let's just plan to do the full bypass. So that's what I'm looking at doing. I got they sent me home with a handbook, a whole list of appointments that I need to go to within the next 6-7 months. I'm trying to remember what was on my list. I have to meet with a dietitian. I have 3 psych evals that you have to do. He said it's just to make sure that I understand that, first of all, that I'm doing this for the right reason. Because some people, well, I'm going to do weight loss so I can meet somebody. I'm going to do weight loss so I can, I don't know, look better. Like different reasons psychologically. And he asked me, the first question he asked me was, why do you want to do it? My reason to want to do it is I want to be healthier. I've tried different diets. I want to be healthier. None have been successful for me because, first of all, how my body is, it always has been this way. And then I said the other thing is I want to see my kids grow up. I want to see potential grandkids. I don't want to be looking at my life expectancy to end at 50 because it keeps going, my weight keeps going the way it's going. And he said, for me, those are sound reasons. He goes, you're not coming in, you're not having, the other thing they ask is, what realistically weight would you want to be? What realistic size of clothing do you want to be? And I'm like, I said, I want to be between 130 and 140. And he goes, for your height, he goes, that's actually a pretty good weight. You're not going to be, he goes, first of all, he goes, like BMI index things, he goes, I personally don't care for that. He goes, because everybody has different body types, everybody has different body makeups, everybody has different body chemicals, everybody's different. So those are one size fits all, and he goes, nobody fits in those one size fits all. He goes, those are just averages. He goes, second of all, he goes, somebody can be what that weight on that BMI scale says and be at a certain BMI and such. And he goes, you can be at that weight, you can be at that size. And he goes, but you're still completely unhealthy. And he goes, some people at smaller sizes look completely unhealthy. And he goes, looking at your bone, or your body size, and like, he kind of felt around like on my arms and stuff to feel like where my bones are. And he goes, feeling your bone type, that's a realistic goal for weight. And he goes, you're not being unrealistic for weight. Now, what size clothing do you want to fit in? And to that, I go, I don't know what size. And he goes, what do you mean by that? And I go, I just want to be able to walk into a normal store and pick out something off the rack. I don't want to have to either go into the men's department to find something to fit, I said, or have to go to a plus size women's clothing specialty store. I go, if If I fit in something in the plus size women's clothing store, that's great. I have nothing against women who are plus size, obviously. I'm already frustrated because I'm so short. Nothing fits lengthwise, no matter what size I am. When I was 120 in college, I had to buy clothes and I fit in them waist-wise in the little girls and the little boys department because they fit me better lengthwise. They're still too long. So I'm like, at my height, I go, I'm always going to have the length issue. And I go, and it just gets complicated with the size issue. I go, I want to be able to go into Target and shop. I want to be able to go into Kohl's and not say, where's your plus size section, and then get showing like 3 racks. I want to be able to wear clothes. I want to be able to look nice. I go, because right now going into the plus size stuff, to me it's a lot of it is frumpy old lady looking stuff, in my opinion. It's stuff I wouldn't wear. And I go, I only have limited choices. I go, I'm frustrated with clothing. And I go, so I'm stuck in a t-shirt and jeans. And I go, where it's comfortable, I go, I feel like I don't look nice 90% of the time. I look like I'm just thrown together. And he said, once again, that's a sound answer. You're not unrealistically coming to me saying, I want to be a size 0, going from the size you are to saying, I want to be a size 0. And he said, though, because I carry most of my weight in my belly, he goes, you may be looking at a skin removal surgery a few years down the road, which I'm okay with. And then I also asked him about pregnancy. And he goes, well, typically we would ask you to try to do it before surgery because so many women gain so much weight during pregnancy. And I go, I've lost weight during pregnancy. I go, I've had 2 pregnancies that have gone to births. And I said, I get cravings. I said, but typically my cravings are healthy. I go, my son, I craved apples through the whole pregnancy. Apples, carrots, and spicy stuff too. And then at the end, I started kind of craving Coke, and I was allowed to drink just a certain amount each day. My daughter, I don't remember much cravings with her. I just remember with her not being hungry. I really wasn't that hungry with her. And for my son, I lost 30 pounds from when I got pregnant with him to 2 weeks after he was born. I was 30 pounds lighter. And I said with my daughter, I was 10 pounds lighter from pre-pregnancy to post-pregnancy. And he goes, well, that's pretty good. He goes, considering, average baby is about 6-7 pounds. And he goes, and then you've got the water, which is about another 2 pounds. And then you've got the placenta, which is pound and a half. And I started laughing, and he goes, what's that? And I go, my smallest baby, my daughter, was 8.5 pounds when she was born. I go, my son was 10.5 pounds when he was born. I go, they estimated my fluid was probably another 3 to 4 pounds. And I don't know about my daughter's, but my son's placenta, I think they said weighed 2.5 pounds. And I go, with my son, I go, after he was born, between him and the water weight and the placenta weight, that was 15 pounds alone after he was born. And he goes, and I'm not going to be as worried about pregnancy afterwards. It's just, you have to make sure the nutrition part of it. And I go, and I get that, and I understand that part. And I go, the other thing is I'm worried about getting physically bigger. I won't be able to do stuff with pregnancy. I go, since I obviously have large children, I'm bigger to start out with. And I go, and then I was thinking, once you lose the weight, I'd still have the skin. That way I'm not stretching the skin back out. And he goes, you've got a point there. Because I go, I wouldn't do skin removal until we've either had another child and made a decision that we're done with the 2 that we have. So he was fine with that. So I was moved on to the next step, which meant starting the other appointments. When is it? Beginning of March, I believe it is. I see a dietitian. I have to call, or they said they would call me, but I'm gonna I can't Monday. I think later this week, since this was Monday, later this week, which you probably won't see this till next week, I am going to be calling because I need to call the cardiologist to make sure my heart is healthy for surgery, which when I went through all those tests with it last year, it should be fine. I need to make the 3 psych appointments. And then I've already done this. I need to, every month for the next 6 months, go to my doctor for monthly checks, weight checks, where her and I go in. They have a list that I'm supposed to give her. We go over the stuff on the list. She puts it in. So that way the insurance knows that, like, I've been trying stuff leading up to the surgery. So that's where we are with that. So I'm looking at 6 to 7 months away from now, which would bring me about June, actually more July-ish. I am kind of hoping to do surgery end of August. My husband and I sat down and talked about it. First of all, I have to have like somebody with me for so much time. Afterwards, I have to have somebody available to me. Sorry guys, my phone rang. My husband and I sat down and talked about it, and we're thinking of thinking of this is, I want to do it when the kids are in school. That way, I am thinking, my thoughts on it are, even though, okay, that was the cat in the kitchen. They keep trying to open up the cupboards. My thoughts of it is, since I need to rest for the first 6 weeks, I know I won't be able to drive them to and from school, but my mother-in-law will probably be able to help. I can get up and get them ready. My husband can take them to school. Like, we'll get that part figured out, since I can't drive for the first 6 to 8 weeks. My thoughts are, I would rather be able to rest at home during that time than have to worry about taking care of them. And I know that sounds bad, but I can't. I have 2 high energy kids. I have a daughter with ADHD and I have a son with autism and ADD. So I've got 2 kind of high maintenance kids that they're best friends and they're worst enemies at the same time. They want to play with each other nonstop, but then they fight nonstop. Like, even sending them outside to play, they'll be fighting over something ridiculous. It's like, just figure this out, you two. So I want to do it so that I can be home and rest while they're at school, so I'm not worrying about stressing about, which then in turn makes it harder to recover if you're extremely stressed out. So we're thinking like end of August, September, when to do the surgery. I know it's going to suck not being able to eat. Pretty much I'll be on a liquid diet for the first 2 weeks, then I'll be on a soft diet for so many weeks before I graduate into a solid diet, because they need to give your stomach the time to heal, which honestly, like, thinking about it, I had salmonella poisoning over my birthday one year. I think I can deal with this. They also gave me like what I need to like plan out for post-surgery meals, like give me an idea. They want me to kind of start talking or getting stuff for that, and starting to try different things to see what I like post-surgery or pre-surgery, so I know what to get post-surgery. Is I'm gonna have to be drinking like a bunch of nutritional shakes, protein shakes, stuff like that. So my husband and I picked up a few different ones to try. So that's the updates with that. I've got currently at the point I make this video, I've got my dietitian appointment, and I also have my first appointment with my primary doctor that I need to do monthly. I will also be going on Monday to a workshop that I need to do before surgery. So 2 things are scheduled. 1 thing will be checked off completely. as of Monday. Then to some other news. I know I've been kind of doing updates about my dad with this. Also on Monday, my dad met with his brain surgeon. And my dad will be having surgery again to remove the tumor on his brain on the 8th. He didn't really want to do it, but even from the point of finding out at the MRI that it's a tumor again, to seeing his surgeon less than a week later, like, he's been fastly declining, and he realizes basically if he does absolutely nothing, he will wind up in a nursing home, and he does not want that. So the choice was made to do surgery, and the surgeon's like, oh, we need to do it ASAP. My mom yesterday went to pick him up to take him to a different doctor appointment, and she said, first of all, he's been able to barely walk. Like, he kind of shuffles along, and she goes, he's been kind of tripping a little bit, but he refuses to use a cane. And she goes, I'm worried he's going to fall. And she goes, on top of that, she went to pick him up the other day, or yesterday, to take him to a different doctor appointment, and she said, I got there to pick him up, and she goes, he was sitting by our door, struggling to he had one shoe on, and he was struggling to get the other shoe on, and he finally got it on. Then he couldn't figure out how to tie his shoes, and she goes, it was just sad, seeing this decline. And after everything that's going on, I made the decision, I'm going to fly home for this. I already have the ticket. I will be leaving. And I'm not going to say what day I'm leaving and when I'm coming home. I've got the kids completely taken care of. My in-laws are going to take me to the airport and drop me off, so because my flight times would disrupt my kids' bedtimes. But like I was telling my mom, it's getting further into this. When he had the first surgery, we didn't realize, or we pretty much guessed it was cancer, but we weren't confirmed. When he had the first surgery, he said he had felt the healthiest in his life. And now he's so weak, he's frail, he's lost a tremendous amount of weight. My dad is, well, he'll be 64 this month, or not this month, this year. My dad's not even 65, and he's basically at the point of somebody that's in their 90s. My grandmother's actually 90, and well, my grandmother has Alzheimer's, like body-wise. My dad's going down that path 30 years earlier. And I told my mom, I said, as much as I don't want to see my dad in this position, I don't want to see him looking the way you keep describing him. I go, it's going to be incredibly hard. It was hard seeing him in October when we saw him in January, and he was full of energy, he was happy, he was healthy, to when they came in October. I mean, he fatigued easily. It's hard to describe. It was a night and day difference. If I didn't know that was my dad, I probably wouldn't have known who it was. He didn't look like my dad, the dad that I know. And I know it's gotten worse since October. And so I told my mom, I said, do I want to see dad this way? No, I don't. But I need to. And I go, because if something happens to him, I could never forgive myself. When he went into the surgery the first time, he was healthy, he was happy. He was able to do things, even though he wasn't able to drive at that time because of the seizures. He He was my dad that I knew him when I saw him in January. He was pretty much the dad that I knew when he went into surgery in May. Coming down here in October after going through chemo and radiation, it was a different person. It was a frail, sickly person that I was looking at. And I know it's going to be worse when I see him. I go, but if something happened to Dad with the state he's in now, if he didn't make it through surgery, if he made it through surgery and something happened after, even though I won't be able to stay there for much, I won't be able to stay that long post-surgery. He'll probably still be in the hospital when I come home. But just being able to go see him and be with him during that time, even though I'll come home, and if something happens to him after that time frame, I'll at least to have been able to say goodbye. At least get to hug him one more time. Where if I stay home, I won't get that chance. And my husband and I have already talked. If something happens, I need to talk to his mom, because him and his mom, or he will for sure be bringing the kids and driving up there if something happens. I'm pretty sure his mom will be able to come with. I need to talk to her about that, just kind of have a contingency plan. But that's kind of where we're at with that. So that's why I'm making this video earlier. I'm trying to get ahead on all my recordings, so I'll have content for my viewers to watch while I'm gone, and then the first couple days after I get back, so I don't need to worry about getting back, processing everything, and then trying to jump back into videos. So I hope everyone understands, and if you could please, I will have an iCard at the beginning of the video for my Be Strong t-shirts that I am selling for my weight loss journey and for my dad. I was going to order one, but then I realized it won't be here in time for his surgery. So I think I am still going to order one, and probably order one for my mom. But I hope everybody has a great weekend, and I will see everyone later. Bye.